Do you remember when you checked into a property of ours in Houston? Do you remember about 6 months later when you stood on stage at the convention center and you named our brand? Do you have any idea the impact of that one moment on that stage? And I said, I didn't, but I'm kind of feeling I do now. He said, there's no way we could ever thank you enough. We could write a new strategic marketing plan, but he said, nothing would make the difference that you've made. And then I said it. I said, well, with all due respect, and when I said with all due respect, my wife, boom, kicked me under the table. Because when I say with all due respect, I'm about to get transparent and very candid. And I'm sure her thought process was this: oh, good, we'll be going home tomorrow. And I simply said, with all due respect to any of you executives sitting at this table, and I said, I do not mean this in a critical, condescending, or negative way. I just am curious. Can any of you name the person who checked me in at the hotel in Houston 5.5 years ago? They couldn't. And I looked and said, again, no disrespect, but you flew the wrong people to this resort. If it isn't for an employee that understood the vision, the mission, and if it wasn't for an employee, you know something? And I looked at a bunch, and I got on my pedestal that night, and my wife said later, I did think we were going home. I looked and I said, but that's what's wrong. I said, she never once said, they don't pay me enough. She never once said, this is stupid, this is silly. All she did was she embraced the vision, the mission, and what you were supposed to do. And I said, I don't think that girl ever had a bad day. And if she did, as a customer, you never knew it. I said, that's who should be here with the guest of her choice. I said, now that I've said that, we are staying for 4 days, right? But it is about the passion, and that's what I love about that. And yet, how do we get, well, here's what I tell people. You have got to reinvent the fire in the belly. Some of you are shaking your head and smiling and nodding because you've seen Denny Flanagan on USA Today. You've seen him on Good Morning America. You see, Denny Flanagan is out there making these announcements, and I am in shock. I don't know who this guy is. All I'm thinking is, man, this guy's engaging. He names the crew by name. He then said, ladies and gentlemen, he said, there's a special passenger. Would you please stand up? And a little boy named Frankie stood up. He said, Frankie's 12. He represents one of 82,000 unaccompanied minors that fly every year. He said, his mom is here. His mom is not going. I saw the mom's eyes. I saw the tears. He said, Grandma's on the other end. He said, now, what I'd like to do, I looked at the manifest. There's somebody sitting in 6B and 6C with the same last name. I need you to know that little Frankie is sitting in 6A. If you would see me prior to boarding, I would appreciate it. 2 seconds went by, and boom, a woman jumps out of the crowd and says, Captain Flanagan, my husband and I are in 6B and 6C. She then looks at the little boy and looks at the mom, takes the mom's hands and says, ma'am, I will be sitting in 6B beside your son. I will treat him like he's my own son. You have nothing to worry about. I saw tears then form in her eyes. At any moment, on any day, you can impact the lives of millions of people, but you just don't know it. Today already, you have encountered people. Look at the size of this audience. There are people with really shiny diamonds and wedding bands that are married, that are smiling, but inside we have no idea what's going on. There are people that wake up every single day. You don't know what is going on. The Cleveland Clinic has an orientation video. I love the video because what it is, it has a man going in a wheelchair with a caption below it. Today, going back for checkup, hoping it hasn't come back. A man going down the escalator, benign. A woman going up the escalator, malignant. The elevator opens up, it says, husband asks for divorce after 21 years. Next one, getting married, not knowing. Next one, having their first child, don't know if they can afford it. Then there's a woman in an emergency room setting. The caption, as the man hands her coffee, son life-flighted. It gets to the end of that video, and you know what it says? If you could see what they see, and hear what they hear, and feel what they feel, would you treat them differently? Making a difference is about understanding that we will encounter people every day that in any given moment, at any given time, there are employees that you have no idea what's going on in their world. You need to make sure you understand you can make all the difference in the world. But here's the bigger picture. You can influence the life of one person and go on to impact the lives of millions.